Hello everyone, this is AndresRestart, and it appears we have just learned something huge about the live-action Legend of Zelda movie. We have just learned about who is going to be playing the role of Ganondorf in this movie. Now, it's not 100% confirmed, but it's coming from a pretty reliable source. A lot of venues are talking about this, and I do think this is a very big deal with, yes, of course, a variety of interesting and exciting implications. And so that's what we're diving into today. And as it turns out, we have even more to discuss here, because after finishing the editing for this video, we got even more news for more actors that will be involved, and these actors are looking to be some pretty high quality actors here, which is suggestive of a pretty good cast in this movie. So stick through to the end, I have even more to talk about with even more actors involved here. Now before getting into it, let me just ask that if you do find yourself enjoying my videos and you haven't subscribed yet, to please subscribe. So Kyle Buchanan of the New York Times posted this on Twitter on August 6th, just yesterday. I was off social media for the last few weeks. Maybe I can make it up to you with some intel and fun scoops. And the big part we're going to be focusing on here, which you'll notice seems to have gained the most traction, the Legend of Zelda movie is months away, and they still haven't announced any actors besides the two leads. So here's a freebie. I've been hearing the iconic series villain, Ganondorf, is played by Australian actor Yuli Latukifu, best known for the show Young Rock. So taking a look at his IMDb right here, you can see his various works, taking a look at some of the pictures here, just to get a good understanding of his appearance. You see he's been in various roles, including the Young Rock here, and I can definitely see this person playing the role of Ganondorf. He's a lot more mature than the actors of Link and Zelda for this movie, but also he does have that stature, he does have a look of someone that could perhaps be from the Gerudo region, a strong person who could lead an army or perhaps be a king, or maybe in the case of the live-action Zelda movie, be the Demon King, Ganon or Ganondorf. This is actually, in my opinion, a pretty good casting here, and is very exciting. It looks like they have picked some pretty good actors for the roles we understand already. So officially we know about Link and Zelda, but from the Zelda movie set leaks we have seen who is being casted as Impa, Deshen Lockman, and now we know about Yuli Latukifu, who will be playing as Ganondorf. And at first glance, maybe this doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but I actually think it is a pretty big deal. It tells us that, one, we're going to be seeing Ganondorf in the movie. Now, some people might think that's just an obvious thing, but with the inclusion of Ganondorf, and also characters like Impa, it's pretty clear what they're doing is making sure to deliver the most key, iconic, recurring characters in the series. They are looking to tell a story that is highly representative of the most of the Zelda series. Now, similar to the Mario movies, I am anticipating a little bit of an amalgamation here. Not in the sense that they're going to copy a particular story, but rather bring in a lot of recurring Zelda themes to deliver something that feels like a proper Zelda movie. And so including Ganondorf is definitely a necessity, because Ganondorf is the main villain of the series. He's not always in the form of Ganondorf, sometimes he's in the form of Ganon. And so with Kyle Buchanan here stating specifically Ganondorf, there are also some implications with that, because if we go back to older Zelda, we might just see the depiction of Ganon, or even in the case of Breath of the Wild, it was Calamity Ganon, but later on we see Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom, and then we also have Ganondorf in Ocarina of Time, The Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and so there is a difference there. This isn't just going to be a giant pig beast, but this is going to be a person with a background, a person likely coming from the Gerudo region, telling us a bit of story there. And so there's a lot of opportunity to have some depth there. We looked at what we saw of Ganondorf in The Wind Waker, and he talked about a little bit of the struggle of the Gerudo, and how he wanted something better for his people, something like what the Hylians saw in the main parts of Hyrule. And so it's plausible they could be considering some elements like this for the character of Ganondorf in this live-action Zelda movie. With this being live-action, I do think this is going to be an opportunity to really focus on the acting here, for us to see these characters, these people, and seeing their expressions, and ultimately hopefully enjoying work that's behind some good inspiration here. So with this in mind, I'm actually excited to think about what we'll see from Ganondorf in this movie. But also, another implication, with there being Ganondorf and Link and Princess Zelda, are the three parts to the Triforce. Which also, given that this is going to be that first Zelda movie, that first live-action Zelda movie, where Nintendo will be using it to really expand the reach of the Zelda series, they're going to want to tell a story surrounding the Triforce. From the Zelda movie set leaks, we've already seen that they are depicting some different environments like shrines and fountains and such that we've seen in prior Zelda games like Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword, but we've also seen depictions of the Kokiri as well. And we've even heard of actors playing Gorons in this movie too. So when considering this all, I am left thinking there is a lot they want to put into this movie, and maybe some people might get concerned that they might be spreading themselves a bit too thin here. I've already been on the record for saying this, but I'll reiterate it here. I do believe, with confidence, that this live-action Zelda movie will be received with more critical success than the Mario movies. For a few reasons. One, the director Wes Ball is coming off the recent Apes movie, which is a pretty good movie, and if Wes Ball can pull off something like that, I do believe that with the right support can also pull off a solid live-action Zelda movie. But also, too, I don't think Nintendo and Illumination fell short with the Mario movies. I think they accomplished exactly what they wanted. Movies that would have a wide-reaching appeal, something along the lines of what we've already seen from the different movies made by Illumination. With the Mario movies, they were never aiming to make movies that would be your typical, highly critically acclaimed movies. More so movies that are very family-friendly that would reach a large audience, which is what they've done. Now, with the Zelda movie, there are going to be the comparisons to things like Lord of the Rings, for example, or The Witcher, or Game of Thrones, because of the setting and the genre and all. And probably we're setting our expectations too high to assume that the Zelda movie will be received as well as the Lord of the Rings movies. That trilogy I would consider a little bit of an anomaly, but Nintendo has spent a lot of time looking for the right partners to execute on this Zelda movie. There's a reason why for many years Nintendo wasn't in the movie making business, and that's because they were afraid of poorly representing their IP in movies. But now Nintendo has made sure to be highly involved with the production of these movies, making sure the right talent is there to put together these experiences that are appropriately representative of these different series. And so I don't think Nintendo would have greenlit this if they didn't have enough reason to believe that this would be a proper representation of the quality, soul, and feel of the Zelda series. That's not me saying this is going to be the most amazing movie of all time, but if you are a Zelda fan, and are at least okay with a solid movie, I think we can be confident that they're going to at least deliver that with this live-action Zelda movie, and everything we're hearing here about the castings and such gives me a lot of confidence that they are going to be delivering the goods, at least in terms of what we're looking for in a Zelda movie. Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, Impa, the Kokiri, Gorons. We're going to see all that stuff, and with the cast we've seen so far, I wouldn't be surprised if there are multiple entries here. There are rumors that they're aiming to do a trilogy. I think that's pretty plausible. Especially with Link and Zelda being so young, we'll be able to see them mature across the different movies. But with characters like Deshen Lockman and Yuli Latukifu, they are mature enough where they can maintain essentially the same kind of look for their roles over the next few years. And now let's get into that extra bit of info. So according to Deadline.com, there are 2 more actors that are apparently going to be in this movie. One of them is Sam Neill. Now, Sam Neill, you may know him from various movies including Jurassic Park, recently has passed away. If he's going to be in this movie, this may be his final role. This may be his final movie, and so that is pretty sad. And depending on what role he's going to play, they would have to replace him in future movies. Now, what role is he playing here? Hard to say for sure. Given his age, there's a high likelihood he's playing some sort of wise old man, which is a common trope throughout the different Zelda games. The characters that come to mind, perhaps the King of Hyrule or Rauru, the Sage of Light, those are both pretty big possibilities. We don't have much more info beyond that, so it's really hard to say anything else beyond this. However, we did get a little bit more intel about the other actor, and that's Yvonne Strahovski, who has been nominated for 2 Primetime Emmys. She apparently is going to be playing some kind of queen role, and I find this highly fascinating because my first thought was that maybe she could play perhaps the mother of Princess Zelda, the actual Queen of Hyrule, and this would be very interesting because we've never actually seen the Queen of Hyrule in prior Zelda games. We've gotten a little bit of story about her in Breath of the Wild, so it'd be very interesting if they were going to be delving into this storyline here on Princess Zelda's relationship with her mother. That would be super cool. But if I had to guess what is a greater likelihood here, is that she's not actually playing the Queen of Hyrule because we've never actually seen that character in a Zelda game before, but actually another queen that we've seen before, and I think our best bet would be the Queen of the Zoras. So Yvonne Strahovski could be the first Zora we're hearing about in the Zelda movie. To me, that seems a bit more likely. But what do you all think? Are you fully confident in this casting here? Do you believe it to be true? Do you think Yuli is a great fit for the role of Ganondorf? And what do you think this suggests for the movie itself? Let me know in the comments below. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I will see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.